1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Good morning, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, hey guys, I'm James Hake of the Hake Report. It is Friday, July 26th, 2019, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 4th hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson show stream. Thank you guys for joining, and thank you, Jesse, for allowing me to do my show on your stream. That's cool. I'm on the Jesse Lee Peterson show video streams and audio stream that's on jlptalk.com. And you can get my podcast, thehakereport.com/podcast, after the show. So I want to talk about Boris Johnson, Jeremy Hunt a little bit. Jeremy Hunt, we were talking a little bit about interracial marriage the other day. And so I want to touch on that. But first, I want to talk about, there's a point that Jesse makes that's so, it seems like it's so right. And it's like a warning. And I think it's a good warning to whites, because whites think themselves loyal, just, for what's right, what's fair, things like that. And they are supposedly. But when they turn angry, they turn nasty, hypocrites, evil as anybody. And Jesse says this point, you can't trust an angry person. They'll turn on you just like that. And that is true. It's like a scary comment to me, but it's a fact. I've seen that among whites like crazy, especially lately. Fans of Jesse even. And I've even done it sometimes. When you, especially if you like get under somebody's skin, they'll turn on you. They'll just make up lies too. It's crazy. So some guys have gone really off the deep end, like stalker status. That's crazy. I've seen that happen among, like, all throughout my life, to be honest. Angry whites, people. It is White History Month. This is why partly why I'm talking about this. But angry whites are dishonest, disloyal, self-righteous, blind, evil people. And so I've seen people who know better just make up lies. And I don't know if they're convinced of their lies or not. It's because they say it with this, they spout their speculation with this like confident sounding tone, as though they're spewing facts, but they're not. Suspicious of honest people, backstabbing toward loyal people, friends, stuff like that. Disgusted by righteous people, just totally looking down on them. People who help them, they turn on them. People who are always honest with them, they're dishonest with them, or just talk crap behind their backs. And they do this to people who would never do that to them. And so it's just a nice warning to put out there. And I'm not talking about rhino whites or liberal whites or so-called neocons or so-called cucks. I'm talking about people like among us that any one of us could do that, because as long as we have anger. I think Jesse's right about that. Like Jesus dealt with Judas. Judas was so trusted that he handled the money of all the disciples. And like Trump deals with, and Judas of course betrayed Jesus with a kiss, and ended up committing suicide because he actually had guilt. But like Trump deals with the people who betray him. The people who betray him just say stuff, and you really do not know what the truth is, because people will just brazenly lie. And you're like, if you're gullible, like I tend to like believe people, right? You think, oh, how could they be lying? They can't be lying. Maybe they're just misunderstanding or something, or falsely assuming. But they do. They just brazenly lie. And people act nice, but they're snakes in the grass. Or they act like they're fair, blunt, straightforward. But then they use that same personality just to lie, push lies. It's such deception. So that's FYI. It's a side note thing. Now, before I get to calls, and I will get to calls, appreciate you guys. 888-775-3773. The lines are full. Real quick, because otherwise I won't get to it. And I know you guys don't like me not getting to stuff that I'm going to get to. Side note about the UK Tory election to replace Theresa May, which took place. And now Boris Johnson, I believe, is a Tory guy, conservative guy, so-called. Not that conservative, to be honest. But over in the UK, United Kingdom, he was. I think he's already sworn in now. I don't know. Whatever. I don't pay that much attention, but I saw that he beat out this other guy who's currently the foreign secretary, Jeremy Hunt, who's another so-called Tory, which is a conservative type of party over in the UK. This guy, I have pictures of him that you guys can put up. So this was the election night when he won. The Tories voted for him. And there's Jeremy Hunt. Looks like a dignified guy. But incidentally, this Jeremy Hunt guy, who is the foreign secretary currently, is married to a Chinese wife. It's like sort of surprising to me. And I think it was surprising to a lot of people because it was like a trending search, I think, on Google. He met her over in China, and kind of like KT yesterday from DC called my show, talking about how the Western women are brainwashed into feminism and stuff, so it's hard to make good wives out of them or something. I'm using shorthand for how he said it. And he makes a decent point, but I just don't like how people are falling to this. Especially white guys, because I see the white guys. I don't know if I've dated a white woman. I've dated the other races. I haven't dated black yet, but, and I say yet, like I'm going to. But I don't really believe in it, but, I understand, especially us millennials. We were raised in this diverse society, and hardly ever knew any white people, fellow white women. My first crush was a white girl, kindergarten. But then after that, like Mexicans, mostly some Asians, stuff like that. And I just don't like the weakness of white people. Nick is a Canadian, and he said that he didn't meet any real Canadians because of all this diversity stuff. It's even worse in Canada because Canada has a much smaller population than America, and they've been trucking in refugees and immigrants and perhaps even illegals, like crazy. And so they're becoming a minority much faster than we are, and we're becoming a minority fast. We're not making the babies, white babies. And I just feel that it's a white weakness, sort of akin to my first point about white anger. Same thing, right? Anger is weakness, is fear, and all that stuff. So I just wanted to point that out. If I think of anything more to say about it, I don't. It was just something that I wanted to point out because I just don't like. This is a leader who was going to be a prime minister, and there are worse prime ministers, but he was going to be a prime minister, and I'm reading comments on YouTube. He was going to be a prime minister, and I just don't feel that it's a positive sign of the strength of the man's personality. If he married a woman who's more than 10 years younger than him, this Jeremy Hunt guy, which he did, met her overseas, exchanged correspondence, and I just don't like it. And then they're pushing all this. It's become normal to date over the internet, to find people online. I know people who did it before it was cool, and they were looked at as odd. Some people were more accepting of it than others, but I've never really liked it. I've never liked that idea. And so I've never actually done that. I had friends who signed me up on one, but I don't like that stuff. I'm too traditional. So I guess I'll just be an incel. No, not a real incel. I don't believe in those names because those names doom you to victimhood and a status that you've accepted when it's just a temporary situation. Anyways, let me get to some calls. Josie, first-time caller out of Jacksonville, Florida. Josie, how are you?
I am doing good. Hake, how are you doing?
Fine. Happy White History Month to you.
Happy White History Month. I just love it.
Nice.
Okay, the reason I called today is because last night I read an article in the Daily Mail about how the woman was Erica Thomas, the rep, the blessed mama.
Yeah, the pregnant black lady who's a state representative of Georgia, right? Something like that.
Yes.
And
I don't know if you're allowed to talk about, black people right now. I don't know if you're still under the bet rules or not. But,
it is Friday, so it's been more than 7 days because I started Thursday, right? Thursday,
okay.
Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I've gone 7 days, but somebody caught me mentioning black Muslims. Oh, no, Muslims like the Nation of Islam fooling the black Christians in a live chat on the premiere of one of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show 90s videos, which I have a thumbnail about to go up from it. Jesse, in 1992, talked about the Muslim religion with a guy.
Yeah.
And that's on the channel. And so I kind of did, but I can kind of talk about them, but I'm trying to, since I did mention them in that thing, I'm trying to go one more day, talking about whites only and POC, non-black POC. But anyways, you can talk about her. I don't mind you talking about her. Yeah. Let me just tell people the story though. Erica Thomas, in case any of you guys don't know, was the black state representative out of Georgia who went into a grocery store express lane when she had too many items. And this guy who she thought was white called her out for it. And then she accused him of saying, go back to your country or something like that. Turns out that guy was a Democrat and a Cuban. And he denied being white, even though he looked white. He was a white Hispanic. And he's going to vote Democrat for the rest of his life. But anyways, she was crying racism against him, and it wasn't even true. He was just mad at her for being crazy.
The police were going to, they claimed in their statement that the video showed that she was the one that told him to go back to his country.
Wow.
And witnesses also corroborated. They're on the body cam, talking to the police about it. And it said that the police chose not to charge Mr. Sparkes or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They're not going to charge him. Well, let me ask a question. What exactly were they going to charge him with?
Yeah, how did it escalate to a police situation? I mean... Exactly.
And now that she has been proven to be the one that had really said it, why isn't she being charged?
Yeah, okay. Marcus Jones is pointing out this guy called her the B word. He admitted to it. James is leaving that part out.
So does that warrant being arrested?
I don't know how that is relevant.
I mean, I don't know, but I've been called a B word, and I've never called the laws to arrest anybody because I believe in my First Amendment.
Yeah.
But anyways, it just
and call her what she is. Kind of. I mean, he was mad. He admitted it.
If we can't say anything, and we're going to be feared that we're going to be charged by the police, when in reality the other person said it, actually was proven to say it, but there's nothing said about her.
Right.
She's a blessed mama.
Oh, yeah, she was wearing a shirt that said blessed or something, huh? Blessed mama.
She's blessed by the police if she don't ever have any problems. And second of all, she should not be any kind of representative or in the legislature, because in that video where she was crying, she sounded so backwoods that she didn't even know. She'd probably overdraft her checking account. No brain. Tell Mays, brain power. Those are her people.
Yeah,
anyway.
Brain power.
All right, Hake. I just had to point that out.
All right. Nice to hear from you, Josie.
Said it. It's in the Daily Mail. And people, we need to really start remembering what our rights are, and that we, as Americans, should be able to exercise our rights.
All right. Cool.
Because we're under attack. Whites are under attack.
Yeah. Thank you, Josie.
All right. Thank you, Hake. And I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday.
Cool. See you in church and on the Hake Report.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, one thing that I admire about the people that I don't know if I admire it, but one thing I can appreciate about the people that I'm not talking about the rest of the week is that they'll say stuff. They say what they're thinking. And I think that that's partly why they appreciate Trump, because he just says what he's thinking. And he says it for good, and sometimes they say it for good, and sometimes they say it kind of to be nasty, honestly. But it's something that whites could maybe learn from. A little bit of shamelessness in telling the truth, speaking your mind. It's not wrong to do that, always. There's a time and place, of course. But anyways. So, Nick, out of Washington State, I believe. First-time caller. Nick, how are you?
Hey, James, how you doing?
Fine. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, man. I'm glad your show's on 5-6 times a week now, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you seem like you're getting a little more comfortable with it all.
Yeah. Little by little.
Cool. Right on, man.
Yep.
Hey, happy White History Month.
Thank you. Same to you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. You know what's funny to me, man?
Go for it.
You know, like that lady in the checkout line with 30 items in the 15 express line.
Yeah.
And, you know, then she goes and makes this video and this huge sob story, and then this guy on your chat saying, "Oh, he called her the B word." It's like, you should.
That part is so irrelevant.
That's crazy to me. She's supposed to be representing people in our government, right?
She is, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and so the people that are representing the public in our government are the worst of the worst, man.
That's
People
true.
that work for our government and that are involved in our government are the worst of the worst. They have no morals, they have no character, and they have no intention of getting any.
And what does that say about us, the people? We, the people? What does it say about us, the people,
Well,
who
that's what I
voted
can't
for them?
figure out. It's like everybody I know is a certain way,
Yeah.
but everything I see on the television is 180 degrees opposite, man.
You know, part of it is, I think, that the power goes to their heads, and they are in high pressure situations where most of us are weak, right? And then we'll buckle under pressure, and they're buckling under pressure. And
Right.
I think that there's a lot of judgment, rightfully so, kind of, against the rhinos and, you know, all these people that are surrendering their values or forsaking their values once they get into the government.
Right.
But I really don't believe that most of us would do any better, because you would be, I think that you would be shocked. I feel that I get shocked sometimes at how I've buckled under pressure before. And it's like
Right, you
shocking.
know, that's
And it's like,
something I
this
never
is,
considered too.
is it that I actually don't agree with what I claim to believe, or is it that I'm just that weak? And I think a lot of people, if they're honest or pay attention to themselves, they're subject to that type of weakness that we're witnessing in the government. And it's really disgusting too. It just brings out the worst in people. But that's,
Seems to, doesn't it?
yeah. That's
But
why
also,
that's partly why
Donald Trump, he probably had no idea the vastness of the problem and the big mess. Like, I
Right.
don't think anybody realizes how big of a mess this really has become.
Yeah, and it's infected all branches of government, not just the Congress, but the courts, obviously very corrupt, very liberal.
Right.
And then the bureaucracy.
Right, and people are
is horrible.
dumping buckets of water on uniformed police officers, and the police officers are taking it.
Yeah,
You know somebody told them to stand down.
yeah, that's a good
So
point.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And the other thing, you know what else is kind of interesting, man?
All right.
People call and, you know, they're like, I've been on hold for so long telling Jesse, and I can listen to the show while I'm on hold anyway.
Right.
So I don't know what they're complaining about, man.
Ungrateful. Impatient.
Yeah, most people are.
Yeah. I appreciate
Okay, well,
that,
I
Nick.
got to get going, but thank you, man.
All right.
Keep it up.
Thank you. Take care, man.
All right, we'll listen to you Sunday.
All right. I appreciate
Bye
that.
now.
Bye. Justin out of Virginia. Speaking of waiting on hold. Thanks for holding, Justin. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
I'm a little late. Y'all were talking about this more at the end of the third
Speak up
hour,
for me,
but I wanted to
Justin.
talk about-
Hey, Justin, speak up for me.
Yes, I'm a little late. Y'all were talking more about this at the end of the third hour.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about serving two masters at the same time.
All right. Nice topic. Kind of relates to what I was talking about, too.
Yeah, it doesn't really relate at all. I'm sorry about that.
No, it does. It definitely
Yeah, but,
relates. When I talk about angry whites who pretend to, or want to be for what's right, but then they betray their values, that's two masters. That's two gods.
I agree.
So
I agree.
it relates.
And I agree with y'all that you cannot serve two masters, but either one or the other.
Yeah.
But I also believe that once you're truly born again, it's a process until you get true peace. It doesn't happen instantly.
You think that?
You understand? I do think it's a process.
You say that
because-
from experience or something, or you speculating, or what?
Well, I guess a little bit with the experience, because when I was truly born again, a lot of things changed instantly. But a lot of things, it was old habits, or I guess unrighteousness that I did at the time
Yeah.
that I had to work on to stop doing. Even though what I was doing wasn't wrong, it was me judging myself that made it wrong. You understand what I'm saying?
Sort of. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I was just wondering, like, they like an alcoholic is born again, and he slips up one time
Mm-hmm.
and has a drink again. And even though he judges himself for having that drink, does that make him serve two fathers, or is he still stated?
You know, I don't know the answer to that. I don't really understand the salvation thing. I'm
Okay.
sorry to say.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. You catch church with Jesse?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
I just wish I just can't give my input during church. You know what I'm saying? I can only observe.
Oh, okay. Do you join in the live chat, or you just kind of...
No, I'm in the live chat a little bit, but most of the chat...
It's easy to get
is
distracted if you...
judging anyway.
I try to pay attention to it so that I can ask any questions that I notice that are really good that I want to pass on to Jesse. But it's
Okay.
easy to get distracted in the live chat and then you miss the service. So I can definitely understand
No,
that.
I try to stay away from the chat.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if you'd like, I will put it in the chat this Sunday.
Yeah, you
Maybe
definitely
can
can, or you can email us or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah, you can do a
Hey,
super
no
chat.
problem.
You can
Thank you.
still do super
I
chats
appreciate your
on
honesty.
Bonder Building the Man. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, man.
All right, take care, Justin. Nice to hear from you.
You too. You too.
All right.
I'll talk to you again.
Cool. Bye. Rodney, out of Pennsylvania. How are you doing, Rodney?
Man, I'm doing good. I just don't understand. What's wrong with getting a nice Chinese girl?
Are you black or white?
I'm black, so I might not ever get a Chinese girl, but I'm just
Rodney, you're cutting out, man. Hold. I'm going to put you on hold.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, that's sounding better. So, I just feel that whites are falling away from strength and falling back on the easy option, and they see Chinese girls and Asian girls as more traditional and easy to deal with and easier to get with because they're nicer supposedly, or pretend to be. And so I feel that that's a sign of weakness. And it's kind of, to be honest, I feel that it's borderline perversion. I just doesn't look right to me. That's just my sense about it. I can't even really express the reasoning completely, but that's the feeling that I get out of it. Do you interracially date? Rodney, hello?
What?
You interracially
Yeah.
date, or you date black women only?
Sometimes black, sometimes white.
Yeah.
Never got Asian.
You're millennial?
Yeah.
You grew up among all races?
Black neighborhood, not really, not all races.
Oh, okay.
I didn't grow up around all races.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up around Hispanics, Asians, and some whites, and then like one black guy. But yeah, I think it's kind of your surroundings. You become attracted to them and stuff like that. But there's this push to interracially marry. It's pushed in the media and stuff like that. And to me, it's something that they act like it's something to celebrate and, oh, great. And if it's an honest marriage, then fine, great. But if it's most of the time, most marriages are, you kind of have to be perverted just to get married in the first place, right? We're all in a fallen state. That's why we get attracted sexually. And then why add trouble to it by complicating things even more? Because it does complicate things to interracially marry. It's unquestioned.
Oh, okay. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like
culture, especially.
Fetish to just do it just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah. I recognize that it happens. I don't hold it against the people that I know who've done it. Heck, I dated pretty much only other races, but I just don't see it as a positive thing. In spite of myself. Make sense, Rodney?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, take care. Oh, I forgot to tell him why Happy White History Month. May is my favorite caller out of Dayton, Ohio. How are you?
Hello, James.
Hey.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, so you lost your bet. How sad. But that's not why I called.
But I got a donation anyway, so hey.
Excuse me?
I got a donation anyway. I was doing it for a donation, and it was a nice challenge. It's White History Month,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know white people.
I'm trying to tell you, if it was y'all Caucasian History Month, that's what you're supposed to be discussing.
Right.
Your history, not the Chinese history or everybody else's history except yours.
But the thing is
so
that with the diversity now and the diversity of the last several decades, blacks and Hispanics and even Asians, those people are part of white history because they've interacted with us. So yeah.
Oh, I have something for your historian that she always calls in.
It's not Caucasian history
slaves.
though.
Yeah, the lady that always calls in and talk about slaves, this and the slaves that. But I got something for her. You know who Miss Ann is? She white. She know why you call.
You're talking about the woman who said that a black person was the first slave owner?
No. Yeah, that lady.
Yeah.
You know why they call the black lady Miss Ann? Miss Ann is the woman that her husband was sleeping with at the time, making babies. With all the descendants of those masters, with all these kids.
Oh, you're talking about Ham?
Racial kids that y'all can't stand now.
You're talking about Noah's son Ham?
That's how it started.
You're talking about Noah's son Ham?
No, I'm talking about America.
Oh.
Not Noah's arm. I'm talking about your descendants.
Whose?
And all of these
Whose
people
descendants?
that hate us, pretend we'll go to Strong Thurman and we'll go to Clinton and all those men that got biracial children.
Oh, supposedly.
That didn't happen yesterday. That started doing slavery.
Yeah.
But she wants to have a conversation about that, and that's why they call her, Miss Ann, because she had her, that was her man on the side, mothers in the house without fathers.
Let me see if I can.
Started.
Let me ask you a question. I heard, and I don't know if this is true, that blacks who are not dark black are mixed. Is that true?
I don't know about all of that.
Yeah,
about
I wonder.
Because Africans are over in Africa, you have light-skinned people too, just like you have them over here. So they could have mixed.
But there are white people in Africa too.
I'm saying history. I'm talking about history. I'm not saying about the light and the dark skin because I don't know. All right.
I'm just saying that the reason I say that is because there's been interracial, Moses. I don't think Moses was black. I don't know, but Moses got with he married an Ethiopian woman.
He sure did, and they had a problem with Miriam. And what happened?
Oh yeah, they did.
They had a problem with Miriam.
His sister and brother. I think they got in trouble for having a problem with Miriam.
No, they got in trouble for having a problem with color. I think that's what happened with Miriam.
They didn't say color. They said Ethiopian. They're like
Ethiopian. What does Ethiopian look like?
I know, but you said color, but it's more than
in
just
Africa,
color.
Yes, that's what I'm saying because he didn't like the wife.
Race is more than just color.
So that's where the problem came in with that in your Bible. But I'm saying America.
In your Bible.
And then we don't want to know who made America. Now let's go with who made America. And you said
George
the Caucasian man made America, right?
George Washington.
George Washington?
Yeah.
So how could you make something that was here when you got here?
Because it wasn't a country. There's land. There's land, and then there's the country.
People that's confused about him naming America. A white man could have named America, but that didn't mean he made it and built it. Just because he named it.
There's the Constitution. There's the Declaration of Independence. There's
Well,
these
when
wars.
it was being right, John Hanson had a
You
part
can-
in
you
writing,
can
but
shrug
y'all
off
don't even
wars
look at
like-
him and count him before him. But it's what I'm saying. I have one more question, James,
All right.
and I'm gonna leave you alone.
Like a lady on the
So
phone.
if you commit a crime,
Mhm.
is that on James or is it on the person? Is that on James community or is it on the person that did?
It's on the person that did it.
So why can't y'all Caucasians think like that when it comes to other people?
We do.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
you
huh?
put the whole community all in one bash.
No, huh? Nuh-uh.
So y'all need to stop doing that.
Well, I'll tell
Somebody
you.
need you. I'm
when
telling you
it's
the truth.
hey, the
So
thing
James
is,
got to go to jail under
hey.
his name. He don't have to go under jail under that whole community name. He got to do the crime that he committed. Is it like when they go
When a
y'all go
Caucasian-
shoot up a whole room of people?
when a
or do
Caucasian,
stuff like
Maze, when a Caucasian does wrong to supposedly wrong to a POC, how come y'all talk about Caucasian people rather than that Caucasian person?
Because you don't see POCs in manning their own business. You don't see them going to restaurants, bars, and people that are not bothering.
Yeah, they do.
That's why
Are
they
you
get
kidding?
embarrassed.
You ever heard of Black Lives Matter? I'm breaking my
Oh, we
rule
don't hear that. What did you get that Black Lives Matter from?
because they go
That's just a little,
restaurants and
tidbit,
bother people.
Talking point that y'all use.
No.
Get rid of that. What was
We
before
saw
Black
it.
Lives Matter came along?
They shared it on social media. They proudly shared
What
it.
was going on before Black Lives Matter ever just like the Klan? David Duke
yeah,
stand for who?
yeah. There's always
Are
been
you like
radicals.
David Duke? Do we supposed to look at David Duke like we look at you?
Maybe I don't know.
Well, he said like
If
David
you want.
Duke. And like when your conscience talking to you, you need to listen. And it's just like when y'all want to go to war, messing with people over in other countries, y'all should leave them alone. We keep telling y'all that. Because one day they're
Yeah,
not going to be happy about what keeps happening.
You must be
And I
really
don't see
happy
no
with
black
Trump
man
then.
doing this.
You must be real happy with Trump because he agrees with that.
Who happy
point.
with who?
You.
Why would I be happy with Trump?
Because he agrees with not meddling so much in other people's
But
business.
he's still meddling. And y'all talking about communists and he
that's
over there
the world
hoodlum, and
we're
y'all
in.
just think it's great.
Whatever. All right,
So
Mace.
when you say marriage, do you mean that do you get upset with people that marry women from other countries and not an American
I
woman?
didn't say I'm
Do you get
upset.
married
I didn't
those
say
people?
I'm really upset. I'm just said that it doesn't look right to me.
So,
And there are
question.
definite issues,
Should they just
complications
marry an
with it.
American-born citizen? Or
Huh?
should they go over to some other country and bring them all back with them?
No,
And then come
I
back
don't
back?
really believe in going to another country to do that. It's
Well, are you mad with your president for that?
oh no, I mean, hey, I'm not mad
Oh,
at
yes,
people
you
how
get
they
some
live
people
their
get
life.
mad when it's on you.
I even told you I don't have a problem with the people who have done that. I just don't think it should be celebrated or pushed.
Well, Mitch McConnell did it, and a whole lot of them did. And they didn't do it
I
because
know.
they did it because of
Mitch
them having
McConnell's
money.
pretty weak,
They ain't do it
too,
because they were
I might
poor.
add.
Some of them, and then some of them, they gave them their citizenship. to do it.
Mitch McConnell's wife seems to be stronger than he is.
Mitch McConnell
Isn't
wife
that
was
always
too.
the way?
Eventually, it will come out. But as I say, y'all always
I'm
in
not
other
sure what
people's
you said.
business. It's like I was in the store doing business, my own business, and they were holding up the line. It wasn't my father was the lady, and this man behind me was, this whole of this is for this. I said, mind your business.
Nice. Right on, Mace.
And you all in somebody else's business. I got nothing to do with what's going on over here because you don't even know.
I gotta go,
it was
Maze.
the
We've been
Censorship part,
talking
not
too
mine.
long.
No, but I'm leaving, so
Okay.
I'll let y'all finish y'all money out. But
Thank you.
tell her, Miss Ann, she should be ashamed of herself when she come over here trying to get some history.
Right.
So that's how it happened. The black woman being raped, not
No.
love, but raped, and you know.
You don't know that it was
rape.
rape.
Children. And
Anyways.
no father was in the house.
There
And
may
she
have been
used
some
two
rapes,
examples.
but there were
John
some.
Thurman and Clinton, but before them, it was happening.
All right,
And it's
gotta
still
go,
happening
Mace.
today.
Take care.
So that is a tidbit of history for you. Have a good one.
You too. Let's see. Ahmad. Ahmad. Am I pronouncing your name right? Out of the Bay Area?
Yes, that's correct. How you doing, James?
First time caller. Fine. How are you? Nice to hear from you.
I'm doing well. First of all, congratulations on the White History Month.
Thank you.
I'm actually not white. I'm an immigrant.
Okay.
I'm from the Middle East. What I wanted to say is that my experience in this country, which is a majority white country, is that the vast majority of white people that are dealt with are comfortable with our identity. But there's two extremes that I find very funny and weird. Is that some people go to the extreme of being KKK, white supremacist kind of people, and that's how they react to the diversity and the mixing of races. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where I see white people apologizing for everything and anything in
Yeah.
a very funny way and being overly apologetic for just being who they are.
Marianne
And I
Williamson.
find both sides are like not right.
Yep, I agree with that. Yeah. I think that a lot of these white nationalist so-called types they don't really realize the rage that's driving them. They're right in a lot of what they're saying. Marianne Williamson is not white?
What's that?
Oh, okay. Anyways, somebody told me that Marianne Williamson is not white. She's the other kind of white. But, yeah, their complaints are correct, but then the anger drives them off the deep end and they go nuts. And then they end up turning on their friends. And that's partly what I was talking about at the beginning of the show, where you'll see a lot of people, and it's not even just the pro-white people, just any angry person goes off.
Yeah, man,
goes
it's like the way
wrong.
I see it is that as a non-white person, if you wear your identity on your sleeve, that's just counterproductive. Because when I go to work and I deal with white people, Mexican, blacks, whatever, I look at them as a person, and I don't find that the white person that comes to my place of business is looking at me as this, non-white. Like, identity is not the most important identifier. I mean, race is not the most important identifier.
Yeah.
It's just we deal with me as an individual. Some white people are great. Some white people are not that great, just like any other race. So to focus on identity so much, and that's why I don't like the whole Black Lives Matter or the whole identity politics thing is just counterproductive. That's how I see it.
In fact, it's false identity politics because that's not their real identity. Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Because your identity is not your race or your culture or, your sexuality, because they call that identity too, or male or female. Your identity is with what's right or what's wrong. So if you identify with what's right, then you're a decent person, and you can be like, oh yes, I want America to stay white, because the whites tend to be more individualistic and treat people as individuals, and they tend to support freedom and America. I mean, they founded America, and so you can say that, but you still be for basic right and wrong. And that's the way that the POCs can support the whites, by being for right versus wrong. And that's how you become for the white people, because they're the ones who are disproportionately, as a majority, supporting the country, supporting the Constitution, the freedom, right and wrong, actual justice, as opposed to the fake justice, which is called social justice.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So let me ask you one more question real quick. So
all right.
The white people that are uber liberal and uber progressive, and they demonize everything about whiteness.
Uh-huh.
These people, in their own homes, in their own minds, do they actually believe that America is this horrible place, or is this just something for the media, for the public consumption? And when they go out, when they go inside their homes, they know that that's not true. Are they being disingenuous, or is that really what they believe? Because it's just absurd.
I think that it's a brainwashing thing, that they're useful idiots, I think, because a lot of these millennials that are running Facebook and Google, and a lot of these boomers who are running the government, and millennials who are running the government, were raised up in this generation after generation brainwashing system of intellectualism, which is not intelligence, and in liberalism. And so they believe in this thing, but yet if they live like conservatives, they certainly don't spread it to other people. If they have families.
One last suggestion before I hang up, just one last suggestion.
Yeah.
For every white person in America who really believes that this is the worst country in the world, and we treat women, horribly, and other races, I suggest that, you take some time off from work and go spend a month or so in any other third world country, and then give me a call back. Let me know what you think of America.
Yeah. When there's this black liberal writer who made a good point about the social justice thing, because he's not for the social justice thing, he pointed out that these liberals, these social justice types, put agency, meaning responsibility, on whites, but no responsibility self-responsibility for the POCs or the women. Meaning the men and the whites can take care of themselves and they're responsible for the wrong things that they do, but the people of color, so-called, according to them, are not responsible for the things they do. It's whites' fault. That they're whites created the conditions that made them go into being crime-ridden, dirty communities, all that mess.
Yeah, of course, everything is the white person's
Yeah.
fault, right? Anyway, well, it was great talking to you. Thank you, James, for the program.
Happy White History Month to you, Ahmad. I appreciate the call.
Thank you, brother.
All right, take care. By the way, do you catch church with Jesse?
I actually don't. No.
Okay.
I'm not actually a Christian.
All right. Well, check it out. You don't have to be a Christian to check out Jesse's church. It's really nice. I think you would like it.
All right, man. Cool.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Let's see. Man, a lot of people on hold. Joshua, first-time caller out of Ohio. How are you, Joshua?
What's up, broski? I was the last call on Jesse's show, man. I finally got through. How you doing, brother?
Fine. Nice to hear from you, man.
Hey, can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you well now.
I was just calling because I appreciate your honesty. Like the guy said, you guys were talking about salvation. And I remember you kind of said that you don't fully understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, man, like when I witness to people, I think the first thing I like to say to somebody is the biggest difference between Jesus and every other religion in the world, no matter what religion it is grace versus works. Okay? So every other religion in the world is, did you do more good or did you do more bad at the end of your life? And it's like this scale system. And the difference in Jesus is it's grace. He's the Lamb of God. That's why he said, I didn't come to abolish the law, but fulfill it. Jesus never sinned. So when God looks at us, he's got to see Jesus. That's the sacrifice that's worthy to enter the holy kingdom of God. We're not holy.
So,
have you lied? Have you stolen? Have you fornicated? We all fail that test. Jesse fails that test. Every single person fails that test. But if God looks at me in my heart and he sees that faith in Jesus, that makes me, my righteousness is of him, says the Lord. But
so Joshua, are you a street preacher?
No, sir. I just preach to people, around. I just try to,
Where do you
when
preach?
I can.
Where do you preach to them?
Just wherever I'm at, the gym, wherever it may be. I made a hat, my own hat that says, "Why Jesus asked me." It's
wow,
pretty good. But
how'd you get into that? When did you get into that, and how?
I've my whole life, brother. I grew up in church. My mom.
Your
I
family?
was in church in the womb, man.
What about your dad? Was he involved in that?
Say it again.
Was your dad involved in that too?
Yeah, he was. They both went to church. My mom's just more, she didn't miss a service, man. But,
isn't that always the way?
Yeah, it is, man. And
man, that's
I feel
wild.
like what happens is Christians
so do you
today,
sin, Joshua? Let me ask you, Joshua, do you sin?
Do I hear it? This is why I called.
You sin?
The two masters thing. That's why I called.
Okay, cool.
I don't willfully sin.
But you do sin?
I think that's the point that Jesse, I always try to get, I'm always hoping he says to somebody, is when we're born again, our nature changes. The Spirit convicts. That's how we know we got a sin conscious.
So you don't
now.
willfully sin, but you sin accidentally?
Yeah, like let's say this. Like let's say somebody makes me mad or whatever, and I explode in the moment, and then later I'm like, oh Lord, man, I could have. Why'd I shouldn't have acted that way. That's not willfully sinning. That's snapping.
But how come they call? Where did you get the term willful sin?
It's in the Bible.
I haven't seen it in the Bible. I've only seen sin.
Yeah, no, it's in the book of Hebrews. Paul says that if you willfully sin, what you're doing is trampling on the Son of God. And what you're doing
but I'm concerned, Joshua, because you may be believing something that's not true. You may be believing that it's okay to sin unwillfully, but it's not. The book of John says a person born again of God cannot sin. So if you sin at all, then you don't know God.
What John was saying there is that if you say that you're without sin, you're a liar because every man sinned. But let me ask you one question.
You just completely missed my point. John said, if you sin, you don't know God.
I quote the scripture. Get the scripture out that you're referring to, sir.
The scripture
If you don't mind.
the scripture says, no one who is born of God sins. He cannot sin because God's seed remains in him. And anyone who does sin, that person does not know God, has neither seen him nor known him.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, and that's what I'm saying is I don't willfully sin.
No, it's talking about sin, period. It's not talking about willfully sin.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
I feel that you're accepting something that's become commonly accepted, that you can continue to sin as long as it's not willfully.
No,
but nobody
I'm
willfully
saying
sins.
The opposite of that, brother. What I'm saying was going to be my whole point. This is my whole point.
Read on.
The Bible says that grace without works, faith without works is dead. So you can only be saved by grace, not by works.
I'm going
but your
cross-eyed.
faith without works is dead. You got to apply both. You can't take one without the other.
Austin 3:16.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm reading the live
you
chat.
Can't, and if you think about
Joshua,
what Jesus
man.
said, many will come to me on that day.
Joshua.
Yeah.
I recommend. Yeah, you just referenced something that reminded me. Many will say to God on that day, Lord, Lord, and then he'll say, I never knew you. So make sure, you better test yourself to see whether you're actually in the faith that you think that you are.
Listen, instead of dismissing the call, explain to me why you would say that, why you would think that would be right to say to someone. I'm telling you, man.
Because, first of all, the Bible does say that to test yourself to see whether you're in the faith. And second, it says if you're born again, you don't sin. And it doesn't say anything about willful.
I didn't say that I sin.
You said you don't willfully sin.
What I gave you was.
But I'm not. It's hey.
Listen,
I don't mind.
Look, I want you to understand. I gave up everything, brother.
All right, cool, man.
I gave up everything.
You seem nice.
Porn. I don't cuss. Everything.
Yeah.
Worldly music. You name it. So what I'm saying is I don't sin. But what I'm telling you is, why did Paul say this? Let me put you to the test then.
No,
why
man.
Did Paul say,
I gotta move on.
I am. My members don't do what they want. What my mind wants them to do, that they're warring against each other. The flesh and the spirit were warring against each other. Why would Paul say that?
He said that it was sin living in him, and then at the end it said, "Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ." So he rescued him from that body of death.
Exactly, and I'm agreeing with you. I'm not. I think you're trying to disagree,
gotta go, man.
brother. I promise I'm not.
I know you're nice.
You're
definitely nice, and you're saying what you believe. I appreciate that, but I'm just saying, what I said to you is. I stand by that warning because each of us, as Madonna said, everyone must stand alone.
When's the last time that you sinned?
I'm not getting into that with you, man. I've been on with you too long, but I got to move on. Call me again though on this if you want, I guess.
All right, brother. I just wouldn't judge so fast, man, because I came from a good place, brother. But God bless you, man. I hate you guys get so confrontational with people that are agreeing with you.
All right.
But God bless you, brother.
All right. Thank you. Desmond, first-time caller out of San Antonio, Texas. I'm hoping to get through all my calls. Desmond, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Nice to hear from you.
You too. Yeah, I called earlier. Was hoping to catch Josie as well, but I like listening to your show.
Appreciate it.
I think I just started listening to you guys a few months ago. I'm not quite sure where I found you guys first. I think it was like Savage Moments or something.
Nice.
But I enjoyed it. And I'm a black guy. I've never really identified as as my identity.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
It was always weird for me that people did that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. A lot of it made sense, and I always kind of felt this way. And I did go through some things, and I actually did that forgiving your parents thing this morning.
Wow.
With my mother.
Congratulations. With your mother?
Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't done the father one yet, because, I mean, to be honest with you, man, my father's a really great dude. He's just gone through a lot of crap because after listening to Jesse and you guys, been dealing with a bunch of betas, you know what I mean? And he has anger sometimes, you know what I mean? But I'm sure it's hard not to.
Yeah.
And you got, I have an older brother as well.
You sound like you're on the right track. I mean, like Jesse says, most people don't really resent their fathers when it comes down to it. They just think that their fathers were disappointed because the fathers were weak, but really the resentment was with the mothers.
That's what I felt.
Yeah.
And, so when I talked to my mother, it was, it was really, really enlightening. She cried and was really happy and said that she felt good for me for doing that. Some kind of what I didn't expect. I kind of expected her to get annoyed or frustrated or angry.
Yeah, maybe that's coming later.
What'd you say?
I said maybe that's coming later. Sometimes it sinks in and they start making little comments afterwards.
No, man,
Who knows,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
She really, really liked it.
Cool.
It was cool. I was going to ask you, I'm sorry to take too much time.
No, you're fine.
Did you do it with your parents?
It's funny. Somebody asked me this, and I went to them and told them that I hated them, but I didn't tell them that I was sorry for it. So maybe I have to go back.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really apologize. I wasn't sorry at the time. I was a little B-word.
Yeah. See, it's weird
Sorry.
because I grew up in a real
Family
Christian
friendly.
family.
A Christian family?
But yeah,
Were your parents
I was
together?
a musician. Go ahead.
Were your parents together?
Yes, for a long time. Yeah,
Wow.
30 plus years.
Yeah.
They really truly lived on that old Christian, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Type of deal. But they fought a lot growing up, and that was one of the things I had to forgive my mother about because I guess they had some kind of a situation that we found out years ago. And I really needed to give a bunch of business, but it's pretty obvious. I guess she had some kind of a situation, and dude, I realized after I was listening to Jesse that I've always resented women, trusting them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And always expecting, I always wanted to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I realized that it was what he was saying when he was like, dude, you're not a man if you have anger.
Yeah.
It really, really hit me hard because it was something I had my whole life and I didn't know why I had it. And then once he broke it down, I realized it was a lot of resentment that I had towards my mother and also my father, because I did feel like it made him weak. It came off weak to me.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point to where I was so angry all the time that my family would just walk on eggshells. You know what I mean?
Around you?
And it was,
that's interesting.
Yeah, it would get so frustrating. Like my dad would come in and it would be like, hey, you want to, and it's just I would immediately get pissed off.
You were
know what I mean?
Yeah, you were oh my gosh, this reminds me of, you were the outward expression of what was really going on in that family, with them
Right.
too. And you were just expressing it more than they were.
Yeah, because my brother was better than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My brother is I always tell people, he's like me, but better. He's a little better looking. He's a little smarter. You know what I mean? He was always not as angry.
Yeah.
But he was my older brother, and I always looked up to him. He was really the only one that kind of understood me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a weird thing because he was the only one that kind of was able to reach me at a point.
How's he doing
now? My mother and I we didn't even really talk. You know what I mean?
How's your brother doing now? Did he forgive them too?
My brother?
Yeah. Out of curiosity.
Man, my brother's the anomaly, man. He's great, dude. Everybody loves him. You know what I mean?
So
he's a good dude.
He didn't have to forgive your parents?
I don't think he did. I know he listens to you guys.
Okay.
I kind of brought him onto y'all.
Cool.
And he likes it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was a necessity for him. He's just always been really good. You know what I mean? A good dude. And my parents are always real happy with him. He talks to them every day. You know what I mean? And
but he's the oldest brother? Is it just two of you?
Yeah.
Or? Yeah,
two of us. He's 6 years older than me.
They broke him down. They were maybe more strict with him, so he was well behaved, and then you were more wild.
He was a lot more well behaved. than I was.
Yeah, that's not necessarily doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't need to forgive them. Just FYI.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, that's cool.
I'm sure he
It
does.
sounds like it's a nice family.
Yeah, it is a good
Nice.
family. So when I asked you about yours, the reason I wanted to talk to you or Jesse, because I did it this morning with my mother.
Yeah.
And, dude, I really did feel like an immediate relief. It was nuts.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was so angry all the time that I actually kind of felt like tired a lot of the time, which is a weird thing.
Makes sense, though.
Like no energy.
Yep.
And then it caused other issues, like it made me want to take Adderall all the time, or
Wow.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
You know, just
reaching
to
for other
stay
things.
awake.
Yeah. Man.
And it was a really, really good thing. But growing up, man, I never really had issues with like racism or
right.
Like, I never thought that it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like I thought it existed, but
I know what you mean.
it never like affected me. So it was always interesting. Like I grew up and played poker a lot. I don't know if you know poker, but I always kind of figured it was like that. You know what I mean? Like everybody gets dealt some cards.
Some people have all the luck.
If you know how to play, you win. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Everybody has their challenges that they got to deal with. The hand that they're
everybody
dealt.
wins. Like,
but man,
really good players can win with anything.
Right. You know, you're right. There's a lot of us don't deal with this racism brainwashing, but we got a lot of other issues to get past ourselves. So that's a nice report, Desmond. I got to go, but I appreciate this call. Nice, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Make sure you catch church on Sunday if you can.
Okay.
All right, bye. William, first-time caller out of Cincinnati.
Yes,
Let me
sir.
see if I can get through the last couple of calls here. William, how are you doing?
Yes, sir.
Hey.
I'm doing all right, sir. How's it going?
Fine, thank you.
All right. You and Jesse's message is very, very powerful. It's so powerful that it worries me because if you're first off, do y'all have another platform other than YouTube that y'all use?
We use YouTube, dlive.tv/Jesse Lee Peterson. We were on Facebook, but Facebook is censoring our live videos. And but Facebook is not censoring the church videos, though. We are on Bond or Building the Man Facebook page. And then we're on mixer.com/JLP Talk or /the Hake
I guess
Report.
all I wanted to know is, do you guys have a solid way? You guys have a solid way of protecting yourselves against the censorship?
Yeah, we're always going to be able, before we were streaming on YouTube, we were just streaming directly through our website. And and YouTube is a lot nicer in that it has features like live chat and stuff like that. But Jesse's not going to stop until God says stop. He's been kicked off of He's been kicked off of radio stations since 1990 when he first started Bond. He's used to this stuff. It doesn't faze him.
Yeah, he's used to it.
You can't censor Jesse. He's going to speak his mind. That's why I don't try to enforce any terms of service type stuff, because it's just a bunch of nonsense. Just basically can't talk about blacks, gays, women, Muslims, anything. You can't tell the truth to people who need the truth, basically. Yeah.
Everything is getting distorted. I'm on YouTube myself, but because I had found a loophole, so I'm basically like one of the last uncensored truthers on YouTube.
Wow, nice.
The rest of us are getting damned one by one. I don't care about monetization. I ain't trying to make no
Right.
money. I'm just trying to get the truth.
Same with us. We're not even trying to get remonetized on Jesse's channel. We just want to keep on streaming and reaching more people, and we're branching out to other channels too.
Americans need it. I'm telling you, like 2019, Americans need it. Last year, I did some heavy 007 style infiltration, man. I kind of infiltrated the LGBT, and I learned like a lot about them.
Wow.
And things are a lot more sinister than what y'all think, man.
I believe it, man. I've heard stories. We have next week. I believe we have Bill Lockwood on, and Bill knows about some of that stuff too. I believe you, man. William, man, I gotta go. We're coming to the end of the show, but can you call me next week or Sunday?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Just y'all keep your heads up. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Happy White History Month to you, man.
Happy White History Month. You already know. And I'm gonna start telling people that just a troll and make them mad. You know.
Right on.
Yeah. Take care of yourself, man.
All right. You as well. Take care. Skip and all the other callers, I'm sorry I could not get to you. We'll be back Sunday for the Hake Report, 9 a.m. on my channels. Subscribe to me, the Hake Report, on YouTube, Facebook, kind of, Periscope, D Live, Mixer, and on Twitch too. They haven't discovered me yet. All right, cool guys. And church on Sunday, rebuildingtheman.com/church. Make sure you check out the new Fallen State episode. It is premiering noon today, I believe. Noon today, thefallenstate.tv or The Fallen State on YouTube. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.